Welcome to the January 6, 2020 Frankfort Village Board meeting. We call this meeting to order and we ask our clerk, Jean Severia, to take the roll, please.
Let's try this again. Mayor Holland.
Here.
Trustee Borelli.
Here.
Trustee Clavio.
Here live.
Trustee Farina.
Here.
Trustee Ogle.
Here.
Trustee Petro.
Here.
Attorney Mahoney.
Here.
Attorney Lamore. Chief Barica. Village Admin Pisha.
Here.
Assistant Admin Cook.
Here.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The next item on our agenda is what we call the unanimous consent agenda. All items on the unanimous consent agenda are considered routine in nature and will be voted on after a single motion. If one of the trustees wants to discuss one of the items in more detail, then we'll just remove it from the consent agenda. So I first ask, do any trustees want to remove any items from the consent agenda? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
We have a motion by Trustee Ogle and a second by Trustee Petro to approve the consent agenda. And we do want the people here in the boardroom and the people at home on the television and on the internet to know something about the items that we're going to be passing tonight. So we'll go over each one of them just briefly. And the very first one is the approval of the minutes from our last meeting of December 16th. The second one is the approval of the bills and the payroll, and we'll go to our chair of our Finance Committee, Trustee Borelli, for a report on the bills.
Thank you, Mayor. The bills tonight total $563,135.90. A couple of notable items. We did finally purchase 2 police cars. We talked about these previously at an operations committee meeting. So one is in the amount of $45,442, and the second one is in the amount of $39,411. So that's great news. And then there's a sizable IEPA loan payment, and that was $48,253.13. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Adam. And then we have a couple of items from our Plan Commission, and we'll go to Trustee Clavio, who is the liaison to the Plan Commission, for a report on those items.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Tonight we have 2 items that are the outcome of our December 12th, 2019 public hearings at the last Plan Commission. The first one is the Midwest Auto Shield special use permit at 9270 Course Air Road, Units 8 and 17. The applicant, Ryan Gleason, proposes to open Midwest Auto Shield, a company specializing in the application of automobile protective films and coatings as well as paint correction. This is within the Airport Industrial Park, and this business will accommodate the proposed operation in the I-1 Limited Industrial District. The applicant seeks the granting of a special use permit for automobile repair and service. The Plan Commission did unanimously recommend 6-0 a vote to approve the special use request. So on this motion, Mr. Mayor, before us is to accept the Plan Commission recommendation, waive the first and second readings, and pass an ordinance granting a special use permit for automobile repair and service to the property located at 9270 Course Air Road, Units 8 and 17, to permit the operation of Midwest Auto Shield in accordance with the reviewed plans and public testimony, conditioned upon no mechanical repair being conducted on-site and all customer vehicles being stored indoors. The second item, Mr. Mayor, is the Brow Lounge special use permit, who's located at 109 Ash Street. The applicant, Tracy Gomez, who is located at 111 South Ash in our H1 Historic District, requests the granting of a special use permit to allow massage services as part of her existing business. In 2016, the village granted a special use permit to allow the provision of massage services as part of the business operation. The applicant recently expanded into the newly renovated building at 109 Ash Street and proposes to relocate the massage component of the business to this new space. Special use permits are not transferable between properties, so they had to apply for a new special use permit to accommodate the massage services in the new location. Again, the Plan Commission had a public hearing and unanimously made a recommendation of 6-0 to the village board for this special use request. So before us tonight, Mr. Mayor, is to accept the Plan Commission recommendation, waive the first and second readings, and pass an ordinance granting a special use permit for a massage establishment to the property located at 109 Ash Street to accommodate the operation of the Brow Lounge in accordance with the reviewed plans and public testimony. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, John. And those are all of the items on the consent agenda this evening. So before we vote on them, is there anyone in the audience who wanted to make any comments to the village board about any of those items? Hearing none, any questions or comments from the trustees? We'll go to our clerk, Jean Severia, for the vote.
Trustee Farina.
Yes.
Trustee Ogle.
Yes.
Trustee Petro.
Yes.
Trustee Borelli.
Yes.
Trustee Claudio.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next item on our agenda is what we call the mayor's report. And the first item on the mayor's report is swearing-in ceremony of Patrol Officer Tinman. Now, it was about a year and a half ago that this board discussed going to the people of Frankfort to increase the sales tax in our community. And we said we wanted to do it primarily to hire more police officers. We felt that the people of our community deserve that, and our police department is very important to this community. And Jarrett, you're the first one we're swearing in from that happening over a year and a half ago, and it was a year before last November that the public supported the tax increase by voting for it. And we realize a lot of people in our community voted against it, but I think we're being very responsible with the money. We said we would use it for police. We're hiring 5 new police positions in our community, going from 28 to 33 sworn officers in Frankfort. And then we said we would spend money on capital improvement, and frankly, it's going into road projects and resurfacing of roads and such too. But Jarrett's here with his family. His parents are here. His brother is here. His sister-in-law, and that's Chase back in the back there, I think. That must be a nephew who's explaining how we should be running this meeting, and good for him. We appreciate that, Chase. And Jarrett, I have here that you have a bachelor's degree from the University of Iowa, and you're here today with Sammy, right? Good. Well, we're going to bring you up and do this swearing in. I note that your grandfather was a Chicago police officer, so that's very interesting. Is he still with us, or? Yeah. Well, it's nice to know that the police business stays in the family. I'm sure he would appreciate what you're doing. So if you would, join me at the podium. We have to get close to this microphone or they won't be able to hear us on television. Oh, this is great. It is a family affair. And we do welcome you to the police force. Our police department, again, is very important to our public, and we appreciate the motto that is used in the Frankfort Police Department, that we protect and serve. It's protecting people, protecting property, even when we're issuing a traffic ticket. We're trying to remind people it can be dangerous out there. We're not trying to, we're trying to serve them. We're trying to help the people, and it's great to see. But we appreciate all the work that you've gone through. If people don't understand it, I think it's about 6 weeks that you have to go to the training school or wherever you went down to Decatur. Okay. 12? It's 12 weeks? 12 weeks. 6 weeks. Well, some can cut it in half maybe. No. No, it's 12 weeks there, and then it's another, how many
12
weeks?
weeks.
12 weeks in field training, where the officers ride with another officer and learn about our town and learn how we do things. So it's full 24 weeks, and then the selection process is often another couple of months, and it just takes a lot of time.
It does.
It really does. So we're ready for the swearing-in ceremony. If you would, raise your right hand, and then you state "I" and state your name.
I, Jared Timmon,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to uphold the Constitution of the United States
to uphold the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of patrol officer
the duties of the patrol officer
for the Village of Frankfort
for the Village of Frankfort
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
There you go. Now you're in.
Thank you.
Congratulations. This is your badge. There you go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And thank you to the family. Families are very important to police officers, and they need the support of the family. It's not an easy job that we ask our police officers to do, and they need close friends. So thank you to all of you, too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. If anybody wants to say anything, you're certainly welcome. Jared, you're welcome, too. Or Chief, if you wanted to say anything.
We're just having Jerry's done a great job for us already. As you said, completed his probation with the swearing in is for us, so he's been with us for a little while and is one of our most effective officers out there and does a very good job with all of his numbers. So we really appreciate him and look forward to a long career of having him here in Frankfort. It's been a great addition to the force and the village.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, John. So thanks for joining us, and we appreciate to see the show of support from our officers. Thank you. Next item on the mayor's report this evening is Winter on the Green season 2020 kicks off January 12th. So that is this weekend will be the Ice Fest, one of our more popular of the Winter on the Green series, and that starts at noon, and goes to 2 o'clock on Brighart Green. At 12:30, there will be an ice carving demonstration, and I usually get to start it, so it's really fun for me. There's nothing like going out there with a chainsaw up on Brighart Green. And there will be heated trolley rides around the town to view the different ice sculptures. Kind of a fun thing to do. And finally, our next board meeting will be on Tuesday, January 21st, instead of Monday because of the Martin Luther King holiday. So that concludes the mayor's report, and we go to our police chief, John Barica, for the police department report.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to bring you up to date a little bit when you're talking about the hiring, as you did say, it does take a little while for those to get through, but we did have 2 more officers recently graduate from the academy who are an FTO now. They should be done with that sometime in March, and we have another one that actually reported today to the Academy of College of DuPage at SLEA. So he'll be there for another 12 weeks, and then we'll start him in his training. After that, we still have 1 more to try to hire to get back for replacement, but it is a long process that we go through to get them here. But very good process to get good officers. Also, just want to remind people to keep calling us with suspicious people, tips, or anything else. As we talked about before, some of our recent cases we've had, a lot of the ability to solve those was due to some of the tips that came in from the public. So we need the cooperation of our residents to call when they see things that are suspicious or when they know something's going on, calling us and letting us know any time of the day. It does not matter. We're here 24/7. And of course, finally, make sure that you lock your doors, take your key fobs and keys inside, and do not leave valuables in your cars. The crews that have been out are still in the area throughout Chicagoland from north to south. So they are just looking for cars that are left open and cars that have keys in them. So please help us to help you keep everybody safe and lock your cars and take your keys. That's all I have.
Thank you, John. Good advice. And we now go to our village administrator, Rob Pisha, for the village administrator's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First off, we want to congratulate Officer Tinman on completing his probation and getting sworn in tonight. It's an important step in an officer's career, and I can tell you, remembering trying to get through that, making sure you get through that probation, and you're kind of walking on eggshells and trying to make sure that everything is done right during that time. And just congratulate them on that step and just challenge them to continue to have the same attitude that you have when you're beginning your career and just keep it the rest of your career. Also just want to remind residents that we do have a proposal for one of the properties downtown for the old Formilco lot. The comment period for that continues and will be open till noon on January 31st. And see if we get any other additional comments or proposals, but that's what's going on right now. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Rob. And now to our village attorneys, to Hannah Lamore and George Mahoney for the attorney's report.
No report tonight, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah. And that brings us to the part of our meeting we call Other Business. And this evening we'll start with Trustee Borelli.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just want to say congratulations to Officer Tinman, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Adam. Trustee Ogle.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, congratulations to Officer Tinman and also his family. And I gave him the wrong name of that movie. The Will Smith movie is actually 7 pounds. If you've seen it, it wasn't 8 seconds. But there was a scene, the premise of the movie. I can't give it away because actually that was one of the things that it'll all hinge on. So I don't want to spoiler on it. Also, I just want to recognize two of our community students. We have such fantastic athletic programs everywhere, and sometimes we don't always recognize some of our academic achievements here. And two of our students, one Brandon Hudson, who's a senior at Lincoln Way East, got a full tuition scholarship. He's on the robotics team and academic scholarship to Trinity College in Connecticut. And Trenton Lake, who was a student at a senior at Illinois Math and Science Academy, full tuition scholarship to Cornell University, and they both came up through 157C. Again, we don't always recognize some of the other parts of our community, but it's fantastic, and our schools do a great job, and our parents and our students and the families, community all work together to make it strong. And just wanted to mention those two young men and wish them great success in their futures. That's all I have tonight, Mayor.
Good comments, Keith. Trustee Farina.
Congratulations to Officer Tinman and his family, and welcome aboard. Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret. Trustee Petro.
So congratulations and welcome to the Officer Tinman. Also wanted to wish everyone a happy new year. I know the kids are ready to get back to school, or at least the parents are ready to send the kids back to school tomorrow as well. And 2020, so I cannot believe it's bringing on a new decade, but 2020 is often referred to as perfect vision. And I think the reality is that there's no such thing, but it's about clarity. And I just wanted to say, as we're starting this new year, I'm really encouraged as a new trustee serving on this board, how the Village Board has really come together and aligned on the objectives today for 2020 and in the future, and our further discussions on strategic plans for 2020. And thank you for all the applicants that put in applications and resumes for the open trustee positions, and we're looking to those upcoming interviews as well.
Thank you, Jessica. Trustee Clavio.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would echo as well to Officer Tinman. Congratulations, welcome to the force. As a piggyback of what Trustee Petro just said is we got to test out our electronic media today for participating in meetings. It's a resolution and an ordinance we passed as a Board of Trustees a few years back when I first joined, because there were comments that we needed to keep up with the year 2020 before it gets here. And we tested it the first time today because I was on my way from the airport and not quite here on time. It works, which is good. So there is progress in Frankfort as far as from the electronic world, which is fantastic. I do want to give a little bit of a public service announcement, not as a lawyer for the village or anybody in particular, but there are two big laws that are going to affect a lot of people this year. And that is the new cannabis laws and how you consume it, how you use it, and where you use it in particular, or consume it. And the other one is going to be cell phone uses. If they see it in your hand and you get caught, you could potentially lose your license immediately on the spot. That's huge for a lot of people, because a lot of us, and I do say us, me, are conditioned to just simply pick it up and see who's calling, and that's enough for you to actually get a $1,000 fine and an automatic suspension of your license. So beware of that, and let's, it's intended for public safety, these laws, so let's utilize public safety. And then lastly, I just apologize for my attire, but, because I was running from the airport, but since Chief doesn't have a tie on today, I guess I'm off the hook too. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, John. And our clerk, Jean Savaria.
Thank you, Mayor. Just one quick note, early voting time and places for the upcoming primary elections have been posted on the village website if anybody's interested. That's it.
Thank you, Jean. And that brings us to the part of our meeting we call public comments. Is there anyone who wanted to make a comment to the village board tonight? Not hearing any. We will at this time adjourn to executive session for interviews for selection of village trustee 5 ILCS 120/2C3. And I'll entertain a motion to that effect. So moved. We have a motion by trustee Ogle and a second by trustee Farina. We'll need a roll call vote on that.
Trustee Ogle?
Yes.
Trustee Petro?
Yes.
Trustee Borelli?
Aye.
Trustee Flavia? In favor. Trustee Farina?
Yes.
That passes. So at this time, we are adjourning to executive session for interviews for the selection of village trustee.